Hey guys, Josh here and you're watching Chimp Skills. And today I want to talk about an idea from the martial arts community called white belt mentality. So I didn't do a heap of martial arts as a kid, and it wasn't until I was well into my 20s that I started doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And at that stage, I was a white belt. And it's not until you sort of progress a little bit on later in that skill set that you start to notice this white belt mentality and you're really fully aware of it. And it transfers over to many different skills that we do in everyday life. Essentially the term is that when you start something, you're as enthusiastic as possible and your thirst for knowledge is massive. It's undeniable. Like the quest to be able to execute a specific skill, that drive is insane, like to get to that point. Whereas as you start to make your way up, into the higher ranks and you start to have an idea of what you're doing and you start to figure out some of the moves and some of the skill sets, the ego also gets involved. And when that happens, you can also become complacent. So something previously that you might have paid more attention to, or you might have delved in deeper and asked further questions, or challenged that idea, you start to do things pretty well and you become comfortable with that. So I guess this crosses over to many different aspects of life. If you think about a skill, when you first started that skill, how insatiable your passion was, to actually want to execute it to perfection. And then as you get better, things get a little bit easier and you tend to not pay quite as much attention and you have a pretty good idea of what you're doing. So sometimes you may even think you've mastered a skill. I guess the question is, do you ever truly master any specific skill? Or is there always room for improvement? And I guess that's what keeping that white belt mentality is all about, is that regardless of how good you get at something, never be afraid to ask those sort of difficult questions, to delve in deeper, to challenge the ideas, the concepts, all the rules of the game. One of the crazy things about, white belts when they first start training is they're not indoctrinated into a specific sort of structure. They're quite wild, like a lot of their maneuvers will be uncharacteristic of someone who's been training for a while. And they can also take people by surprise. Sometimes a fresh outlook on something that you've been doing for a long time is all you need. And someone else who's at a much lower skill level is able to see some of the advancements that you at a high level have completely missed. So I guess what you can take away is that sometimes a novice in a particular area may offer you a great deal of knowledge, and it's only your ego that's getting in the way from being able to get that knowledge. So look guys, I guess you can cross this over to any aspect of your life. Like I said, think of any skill that you've done for a while. Are you still challenging why you're doing things a particular way? Is there a better way you can do it? Is there someone who's not quite as good at that skill as you are, that has something to offer? Do they have a different take on things that that could challenge you and could push you further and develop your skill set further? So when you're around life and playing sport or doing something at work or any sort of skill that you're doing, I guess try and keep that white belt mentality and stay hungry for that knowledge and don't let the ego get in the way too much. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed it. Give the video a like, a share, and yeah, until next time, peace.